Hi, and welcome to my presentation about how should grammar be taught. To teach grammar can be done by using either focus on forms, focus on meaning, and focus on form. Focus on forms is the traditional approach to learn grammar, which includes skill learning approach, and that has three stages. Providing an understanding of the grammar, where you can variate the means, the use of non-communicative and communicative activities, both written and oral. Grammar teaching provide the frequent opportunities for the use of communicative grammar. Focus on meaning, the learner and the learning process. It is not about the language, but it is about the learner and the learning process. And according to Long, focus on meaning is also about where the learners are centered based, which means that the learners does all the work, not the teacher nor the textbook. And focus on form. Originally, Long said that focus on form was incidental, where the learners need to arise, but he later modified that activities can be planned during a communicative activity. And focus on form draws attention and involves the learners. For example, the linguistic elements such as words, grammatical structures, and so on. And this is also related to noticing in input providing tasks. The using the linguistic elements is you can use them in communicative activity. For example, lexical items, single word, or multi-words. And then we have the output hypothesis. More so, Swain has three functions which have been said to relate to accuracy than fluency when it comes to a second language learning. First, there is noticing. The learners may notice a form in the target language, but they may also notice it's different from their interlanguage. And according to Cook, an interlanguage is a language where you invent structure of the language as you go along. Secondly, we have hypothesis formulation and thesis, and the learners tries out new language forms and structures. And lastly, we have meta talk. The learners use the language to reflect on the use of the language. Then we have the TBLT, task-based language teaching. And according to Ellis, TBLT, or task-based language teaching, if you'd like, is a unit for which it both designs a language program and to plan an individual lesson. And if you're planning an individual lesson, there should be a task. More so, in order to call it a task, there are some criteria that needs to be satisfied. The criteria are as following. Meaning, its primary focus is that the learner's solemnly focus is to process the pragmatic and semantic utterances, a gap, to be able to express his or her opinion or to have the need to convey the information he or she may have. Relying on own resources. The learners in a TBLT task rely on their own resources, either linguistic or in a non-linguistic manner, to be able to finish the task. Define outcome. The outcome is being the language that serves the mean for achieving then an end in its own right. The TBLT tasks may be focused or unfocused. A focused TBLT task is designed to provide the learners with opportunities in communicative structures where the teacher uses a specific linguistic feature, such as a grammatical structure, to learn, for example, pronouns. The focus task has to satisfy the four criteria that I mentioned. An unfocused TBLT task are the tasks that are designed to provide the learners with opportunities and possibilities for using language in a general, communicative manner. The TBLT tasks can also be input-based tasks and output-based tasks. In an input-based tasks are the tasks that engage the learners into reading and or listening. Meanwhile, the output-based tasks are the tasks that will engage learners to write or to speak. When to have a TBLT task in your language classroom, it is important to have a lesson plan that has a good structure. For a well-structured TBLT task lesson plan, it must involve 3 phases: the pre-task phase, the main task phase, and the post-task phase. The role of vocabulary, and how do we acquire a second vocabulary? Lauder asks, and he states that most believers of pervasive importance thus claim that most words that we acquire through exposure to input of language, though mostly to input of reading than learning the words. And in order to understand, for example, a radio interview with a minimal of support or even no support, the listener would have to know at least 6,000 to 7,000 words families, as to the reader of a newspaper would have to know at least 8,000 to 9,000 word families. Laufer writes about the hypothesis incidental and intentional word focus. And incidental word focus contains the use of a dictionary. And the learners are not aware of a test that teacher will be giving them. And that could because they have been working with a particular task, for example, writing 10 words, 10 animal words. And the learners use the 10 words in order to match their definition and hence then used the dictionary. This occurs both in focus on form and focus on forms. Intentional word focus. The learners are told about the test, which they will take beforehand. The teacher has prepared them for the test, which may be the task they have been working on, for example, with the 10 words, the 10 animal words. And then they are able to memorizing the decontextualized words, and given the words are given in the same test. That way, the learners are able to memorize them. And this only occurs in focus on forms. And now I will be talking to you about my lesson plan for English in 2nd grade. That's where I teach English. And the foundation is the English subject curriculum. And I have focused on the length, 3 weeks, and 1 lesson per week. Also, I have focused on basic skills such as oral skills, digital skills, numeracy, being able to read, being able to express oneself in writing. And along with these skills, I also have the competence aims for the theme. And for my pre-task, I will be introducing the theme Christmas. We'll be watching a video at YouTube, a Disney cartoon. Then we'll have a grammar, focus on 3 words: to celebrate, to give, to receive. Then we'll have phrases, 3 phases: Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and I wish you a Merry Christmas. Vocabulary, 10 words that are related to Christmas. And also we'll have a culture conversation. How other children around the world celebrate Christmas. I choose to use both languages, English and Norwegian, because in my 2nd grade class, I have learners that are multilingual, and the learners originate from Lithuania, Russia, and Latvia. For my main task, my learners will write the 10 words that I used flashcards with to write the words in their English book. Also, we're going to use the vocabulary, and they're going to use the Christmas words to draw a picture in their English book. And then we'll have a culture conversation about Christmas and how it is celebrated in the many various ways in the world. But also, we're going to try and focus on the traditions we have here in Norway. And then we have the post task. I will repeat the grammar, the phrases, and the vocabulary. I will include an arts and craft session where they draw a Christmas stocking in their English book. And then we're going to have a writing task. I'm going to try together with my learners to write a wish list for Christmas, and they will write that wish list into the Christmas stocking. And then, just to set the mood, we will listen to music. We will listen to Christmas songs. Okay, that's my presentation. Thank you for taking the time to listen. Bye-bye.